Cool. We're live. So
Oh, I
hello
live.
to yes, say hello to both of our viewers. Right. So let me introduce myself. I'm Chris. I'm the founder of Focus 101, among other things, but I pretty much do all the things. And I'm here talking to Kathy, whose name I can't pronounce because it's Dutch, and she is
Yeah,
from Holland. And we're just gonna
from the
have a conversation
Netherlands.
today. I knew you're gonna say that.
Yes, of
That's
course.
why you always say to the Dutch, "Ah, you're from Holland."
No, we don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, two-thirds of us doesn't.
Holland is a part of the Netherlands, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it is. We have the northern of Holland and the southern of Holland, which are both, how do you call it, municipalities in our country. But the rest is not, technically not Holland.
But they're
But
both
you would
just
hear
as
it.
flat.
Yeah, yeah, indeed.
Cool. So, yeah, can you tell us a bit about yourself and what you do?
Well, I study psychology right now. I'm 33 years old. I decided 6 years ago to go back to college next to working. And yeah, I study psychology right now. I just finished off my bachelor's degrees and started with my master's degrees. That's most of what I do at this point.
And you have a cat and dog.
I'm sorry?
And you have a cat and a dog.
Yeah, and I have a cat and a dog. Very important, yes.
Very important details. So, to those who don't know, which I guess is everybody, all 8 billion people, we do know each other from the platform because we tend to start our days together. You have your coffee and I have my coffee and we just start working. And for me, it's 7 a.m. and it sort of keeps me up because I wake up to feed my cats. And when I say I wake up, I am awoken by them to feed them. And I always look at my phone to see if you canceled. And if you do, then I go back to sleep, but you don't. So you're always keeping me awake. But that's good because I'm sleeping much better if I wake up early. So
Yeah.
that's great. So yeah, how did we end up meeting each other? How did you first discover the platform?
Funny enough, you did a podcast at, how is it called? It was something with ADHD.
Hacking your ADHD?
Hacking your ADHD, yes, that one. I heard about you and especially about the platform, and I have been looking for body doubles in my own friend group and stuff. But if you know each other, you get distracted
Yep.
quite a lot by, well, things you don't want to do. So I decided that wasn't for me. I tried to set it up with some of my college, other students for my college, but it didn't really work out, and the platform does.
It's like herding cats, isn't it? When you try to get a group of people to do just about anything.
Yeah, yeah, and so I was like, I'm going to try it out because it does work for me to work alongside someone else. And the platform, the way it's set up with you write in for an hour of work and then it stops, then you have a break and you have to look at what you've done and have you done the things you wanted to do or not and why. It helps so much, and I think that's what's missing for me most of the time is we set up a work day with other people where you're like working 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours together but barely have any breaks, barely have any moments of checking in on each other what you're doing.
Hmm.
And I think that is the last part of um, yeah, that why it works for me.
Yeah, it has evolved to this stage. I find that it works for me in that way as well, because you log in, you in the session, you get the prompt, and even if you haven't done it before, we tell you what you need to do. At the end, we tell you what you need to do. We just get a ding, get a message. This is what you need to do now. You got 2 minutes to do it. Actually, you can do it for as long as you want, but people generally
Yeah.
stick to the 2 minutes. And when I do quote unquote body doubling at work, I just want to talk to my colleagues. So what have you been doing with your whatever? Did you fix your projector? Because I've had a colleague who's had an adventure fixing a projector. It's just not structured enough. I always have to work.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Indeed, because I got to know you by now from the platform, but it's different because you work on different things and as me, and we all know we have new sessions coming up or you have your workday coming up, stuff like
Yeah.
that. There is an ending and we need to get going. And that helps me from having hour-long conversations with people because I'm always interested in people.
I imagine that's why you study psychology.
Yeah, yeah, it helps.
It is fun sometimes to just have a conversation with somebody. You get exposed to different ideas, different ways of thinking, because If you don't, then you just end up in a bubble or your own bubble, just end up in your own head.
Yeah,
And new ideas are good ideas, even if they're
yeah, yeah,
bad. It's good to be exposed to them.
yeah.
I remember you told me that you tried other platforms as well. Can you tell me why they all suck and why this one is the best? Living the
Well,
witness.
I barely have tried them. I have been looking them up because if you're just looking for accountability buddies or something like that, you find loads of platforms. But somehow they didn't feel right. They felt really corporate-y. But you do not really want a platform where you
Hmm.
work on your own stuff. And this platform is you the way you set it up, you encourage people to do it for all kinds of tasks. If it's work, if it's something different, if it's a household task, if it's taxes, I don't know. The lot of things that people hate to do and need some prompt to do it.
Yep, yep.
And that's why I like this platform because it really encourages you to think about in what way can it help me. So that's part of it. And also, I think your platform is the amount you have to pay is really low, especially when you see other platforms. They are way too expensive for what you want to do from it. In my opinion, other people might think differently, but that's why I always came back to this platform. And then I heard you talking in How to hacking your ADHD, and I was like, well, that's a man who knows it, who's been living to it, who uses it, and that's why the user experience will always be good because you're using it as well. You want it to work for yourself and for others.
Yes, because I am not a designer, which is why I got the help of designers. I sort of tried to build things the way I found them to work, and if something really frustrated me, then I made it not frustrate me because if it frustrates me and I build the thing so I know why it's there, it's gonna frustrate other users even more. Funny that
Yeah,
you mentioned taxes. I had a session yesterday with somebody doing her taxes.
yeah, indeed, yeah.
And I have a
Same.
session with her in 20 minutes as well. Again, I imagine she's probably just continuing. Also funny that you mentioned that you try some of the other competitors. When I thought I was gonna build this in 3 months, not more than that, boy, was I wrong. I only knew of one competitor, and by the time I actually finished it, because I work full time, I'm not a secret millionaire entrepreneur, just I do this in my spare time, of which I don't have much. And by the time I finished that, the list kind of expanded to at least 10. Then I found out about another one, so that's 11. And then I just stopped counting, like, if whatever. During the
Yeah.
pandemic, I guess everybody wanted to build a body doubling platform. And just 2 weeks ago, there was a guy on Twitter, sorry, X, whatever you call it, and he was saying, "Oh, should I build a body doubling platform?" And said, "Trust me, mate, you don't need another one." And then
This
I
market
got,
is full.
and then I got talking to him, and we exchanged a lot of messages. One of these solopreneurs just like me building something, and we're doing it somewhat publicly because we're always talking about how we suck and how we're not making any money.
Yeah.
And then of course there's these guys like, oh, look how much money I made, and everybody hates him secretly. Not me though.
Yeah.
Happy for him.
Yeah, yeah, and there is a difference in that, and it's a different basis. If you're doing something to just make money, or if you're doing something because you want something to work for yourself and others at
Yeah.
the same time, that's a different basis in how it's set up. So yeah,
Well, don't get me wrong. I do want to make money because I
yeah, of
spent a lot
course.
of it. I would like to get it at least back, but we're not there yet.
No, I mean, yeah, that of course you want to make it. You're not building it just for yourself and just to pump money in it, but I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
I could have just bought a subscription at any of the other ones, and it would have cost me a lot less. But I did it with the idea that all the lessons that it teaches me makes me better at my job, which it does. And if I do decide to change my job, and I imagine I'm not going to retire from where I am, this project and two others that I want to build, and one is currently being built, they're going at the top of my CV. So
Yeah, of course.
shall tap myself on the back for a job well done. So it's part of my life strategy to expose myself to all sorts of things. It's just like
Of
shooting
course.
yourself with small bullets to develop immunity for bigger bullets.
I mean, yeah, it's not something small what you've done here. So yeah, of course.
Oh, thank you. That's kind of you. No, please tell me more. I'm just kidding.
My phone just fell out of my
That's
pocket.
okay.
So
That's okay. The production quality here is not exactly studio grade. I mean, look at my boxes. I got boxes on the floor.
yeah, yeah. Well, it seems clean in my corner. pretty much. It's the
But
other corner that you
the
don't
other
put.
side, yeah, strategic camera placement. Well, to be fair, mine looks really good because I took most of the boxes to the garage today. But I will
Yeah,
bring them back in a month's time when I start selling stuff on eBay again.
great.
Right. What's a typical work day for you? We do meet quite a lot and we do have sort of fixed schedules.
Yeah, I study full time at this point, even though the college I go to is made for working people, so it's fully from home. I do have a couple of classes, but most of the time they're in the evenings, and just I have one course right now that has 5 classes during the period, and that's it. And the rest is all from home, doing your own work, me sitting in this room working. So to get myself going, I have just I work best in the morning, so I work like from 8 to 12 or 1. Then I have a lunch break and then work to 3 or 4. Um, if I do work longer, it doesn't really work for me because it's my attention just goes out of
Yeah.
the door. Um, so yeah, that's what it's like mostly for me, and it's mostly just an hour-long session, 15-minute break, another session, and I just plan them like that, or 45 minutes, depending on how busy my schedule is, because then I just need more breaks. But it's mostly like that. It's going to be for the rest of the the year at least, and maybe
Till you
more.
finish your
So
masters.
yeah, yeah, indeed.
So after you finish your masters, can I get free therapy? Or can I be one of your trial patients, I guess?
I can maybe help you now. I don't think I can. I am
Oh.
studying to become a child psychologist, so
Well,
unless
I
I
can
can
lower my
treat you like a
voice.
child.
Well, my mom did hug me when I was young, so I can't say. Oh well, I guess I'll just have to keep paying then. 'Cause here I was
Yeah.
hoping for a freebie.
Or waiting a long time, I believe, in England. The
Sorry?
NHS is,
Oh,
I believe
here.
the waiting times in
Um,
Great Britain
yeah,
is,
yeah. But luckily I'm Romanian British, and I use a lot of services from Romania, and plus it's the same culture, so that's quite handy. I don't
yeah.
have much experience with the NHS, but I can say it's not been good, the one I had. Let's say it's mixed. I could go on a rant about it, which I've done with you in multiple parts, if you remember. But also on the NHS, I know people who actually did get a bit of therapy, and what you get, they'll put you on a list for whatever it long it takes. This guy I know, he waited, I don't know, like 3 months or something like that, months anyway, and you get, I think, like 6 sessions, and that's it. So
Yeah.
if you've got some serious issues, well, you're tough out of luck. You got to go private, and there's not much else you can do.
Yeah. A lot of people can be helped within 6 months, so that within 6 sessions depends on how severe it is, the kind of therapy they get, that kind of things. The problem with most of those setups is that you get placed somewhere, and the type of session they give is the one you get. And not everything, we always think about talk therapy when we talk about therapy, but it's not really effective for a lot of people in short term. But other kinds of therapies can be helpful. Yeah, it totally depends. It totally depends on what you need and what they get, and if the therapist works with you for you. There's a lot
Hmm.
of things going on. We're all humans. I won't be a good therapist for everyone. I can already tell. As you know, I'm Dutch, but I'm still very direct for a Dutch person, and not everyone will be happy with me.
Yes, the Dutch did hurt my feelings on multiple occasions. I've been to Holland, to the Netherlands, many times. One time they actually wanted to do extra checks on me at the airport, and they did. But then they escorted me through afterwards, so I didn't have to queue, which was nice of them. But
Yeah,
the time they wasted checking my documents twice.
yeah,
Anyway, it
yeah.
was all good. And yes, I've been many times. I did work with some Dutch guys as well, and one of them did hurt my feelings. No, both. They both hurt my feelings. But I didn't realize that the Dutch are so direct.
We're
They're a bit
pretty
unfiltered,
direct. Yeah, we
but I do
also do
understand.
not really adhere to company policies, really company culture that most other countries have. I mean, if I have a boss and I do not agree with him, I tell him straight up. And I give my arguments. It's not only me getting mad or him getting mad, but it's more like why are we doing this? This doesn't seem to make sense. Tell me. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
normal here. There are
It's
other people who are like, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah. It's somewhat normal here as well. You can have a different opinion to your manager, boss, whatever. It doesn't mean they're going to change their mind, but you can have it. In
Yeah.
Romanian, there is a joke which is you go into the boss's office for an exchange of ideas. You go in with your idea and you exchange it for his idea.
Yeah, but I mean, it goes like that here as well. I mean, it's not they're the one who make the decision in the end, but you can at least say, have you thought about this at all? And how are we going to tackle this? And it's really normal here to talk about that. And just, at least thinking about the pitfalls of a choice and how are we going to make sure that it doesn't happen to us or that the damage that we're going to have with this choice is at least minimized. And sometimes it leads to a different choice, sometimes it leads to some things you can do to avoid pitfalls or to minimize damage or something like that. I mean, there's not always the other option that I see is not always the best option because I cannot see all the things they can. I
Yeah,
realize,
yeah,
but
yeah,
at least thinking about it and talking about it with each other just helps the company also. And
yeah.
I find it so weird that there's companies who are like, no, I tell you, this way, going to do it this way. And I'm like, but why? He sees things. Why are we not listening to him?
Yeah, when you see something in a way and somebody else sees it in a different way, I like to call it a sharded perspective, which is like a
Yeah,
triangle shard, and you see one direction and somebody else sees it differently. And whenever colleagues or bosses, they do things that you just don't understand why. Sometimes there is a reason, and sometimes there's just no reasons, they're just ego driven, like how they're this
yeah,
underling tell me what I should do.
yeah,
Yeah, it's one of those fun things that you have to deal with if you don't work by yourself. There's
yeah,
not much you can do. So, pro tip, kids, get used to it. You will deal with this kind of shit all your life.
yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Pretty much. So I spend like I don't know, 10 plus hours a day in this room, and one of the things I like from the platform is that I get to socialize a bit. Because otherwise, all I see is my wife and my cats for days on end, really. And my colleagues on video as well, but most of the time it's just work talk. How are you finding this? Do you spend a lot of time, apart from the time when we chat, do you talk to other people as well?
Yeah, especially people you see more often. There
Hmm.
are small things that happen or whatever, and you talk about just how things been going. You get to know each other. Most of the time, it's like 5 or 10 minutes after a session or before a session, and it's just fun. For me, it's the same. I don't even have colleagues. I have some students I talk to at this point
Yeah.
because I have some courses, but that's it. And it's really fun to talk to someone else, just someone else. Just someone with another life to talk about and getting to know each other. So yeah, I would say that I have like 3 or 4 other people next to you that I talk regularly to. Just have a chat.
Okay, is it still working?
Yeah, there we go.
Did it stop recording? No, it didn't.
Yay.
You
I
can
can
tell
hear
I'm well
you.
prepared for this.
Always.
Mike, so you can hear me right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, and let me just change my sound, because it's now coming out of... I think we're good.
Yes?
Win.
Wonderful.
Right.
That was a quick switch. So lovely.
Like I said, high production value here. You can tell this is a well-run operation.
It's a good way. I mean, not everything is about production value.
Well, as long as we're having fun, we'll
Right?
get participation trophies at the end. So you do work by yourself, and that's sometimes difficult. Any productivity hacks or tips, like pro tip?
Well, my tips are mostly around studying. I used to be a teacher and I used to help children with their homework as 2 jobs, so they're mostly geared towards that, and I'm still using them. A couple of things that are always good is make sure you have everything ready just to get going. So you don't, if I have to walk around to do anything, I'm going to do another thing. I'm going to see 20 other things, and I have been doing that before I've been going back to where I need to go. So my first tip is always have the things ready here. And it also means for me having a drink, having a snack, having everything in this proximity. And also have some kind of routine or ritual before starting. that helps me the best. Just my first session is not meant to me being the most productive person in the world. It's just easing into it. Most of the time I make flashcards. It's just doing dumb brainless work, and just typing out some things I have written down. It's part of my ritual. I get some drinks, I get some snacks, I'm going upstairs, I make sure my dog has his bed, and sit down, get some flashcards, get set up. It helps me. Yeah, it helps me easing into it. If I don't do that, it will take me hours. And I'm not even joking. Give yourself the time to switch on task.
Mm-hmm.
And don't expect it to be within a minute. For me at least.
Yeah, we're not on-off switches.
Yeah.
What I found that works for me is to start with the smallest possible thing. So, today I was working on this icon/image for this other project, and I have to figure out how to upload images, but they have to be square, they have to be reprocessed, a lot of things. I'm like, now I know how to do all of these things. I'm just so bored to write that code, right? I just don't want it. So what I do is just sit down and let's start doing one thing. Okay, well, turn on my computer. Okay, now start the programs and start Docker and just launch the code editor, and then you just find yourself doing the thing, because it's just that initial inertia that, and this works for me, obviously doesn't mean it's gonna work for everybody, but I just build that initial inertia momentum, and then it just starts snowballing, and it's almost done. I just need to make it look nice and be a nice user interface, at least to my understanding, because then I'll get users to use it and be like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm sure I'm gonna hear that. And then you just start doing it, and that's how I managed to work many hours a day. Also, try to do things that give you energy. For example, if I have to do marketing, I just want to blow my own brains out. If I need to do coding, I'm like, okay, well, that's something I can do well and I don't hate it. One of the other pro tips is to follow your energy.
Yeah.
Do the thing that gives you energy.
Especially starting. Yeah, make the path of least resistance. Everything is here. Every week I get some cookies and I get some drinks and I stash them behind me because I know the cookies are only here. So getting started is at least easier because I sit down where the cookies are. And it's a stupid small thing, but it helps me. Yeah. It's just getting the least resistance. It's just getting the smallest task done. If I have to start reading a chapter from zero, reading for hours sometimes, and if I have to start with that, no, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna do everything else, good and bad. It's not always that I do the bad thing, but I can start cleaning because I hate reading at that point. And my house is clean, but nothing got done that I wanted to do. And if I hate cleaning, I'm going to start to read the chapter of my book. Do something that is really small that gets you going. And for me, if I start cleaning, I never get up here, so I have to do something small that gets me here. And
I'm not a fan of cleaning either, but to be honest, what I really like about it is the result at the end. When I walk around the house and it's all clean, I'm like,
yes,
and
so clean.
Emptying the filter from the vacuum cleaner. Like twice, and it's all cat hair and also my hair.
Yeah.
It's really satisfying. I really like that. I know all that used to be on the floor, and now it's not.
Yeah.
But then, of course, it doesn't last long. It's only a few days, and it's back. Yeah, well, such is life. You'll never run out of chores. There will always be dishes.
Indeed. I luckily have a dishwasher, but it's for me, loading and unloading my dishwasher are something that I find a huge chore, especially loading, because things are icky and I hate things that feel icky on my hands. I just put on some gloves and I say I have to put in 3 things. That's it, 3 things. And sometimes it's just 3 things, and most of the times my dishwasher is full and on. Unloading the same. I'm just going to do 3 things out of the dishwasher. It's empty.
It's that initial inertia.
Yeah. Working through that I don't wanna, and afterwards you get going most of the time. Yeah.
What sort of fun thing did you do, if anything really, on the platform, or unexpected? What sort of unexpected thing happened to you? And then I'll tell you what.
Oh, that's a great one. The most unexpected thing that I had, I was talking to someone else about having to shop for pants. I don't like shopping. For clothes, I find it a chore. You have to go somewhere, you have to put on loads of clothes. Most of them don't fit you, most of them don't look nice on my type of body. I just hate it. And she was like, try this site. I love their clothing. And it's exactly the type of pants I normally want, but I can't find around here.
Nice.
So there was something going on afterwards, like we were showing each other pants in the next session when it came. And it's really fun. It's just, it's a small connection, but I was like, oh, and I have them and they're so nice. And it was really funny. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things I liked as well, and I didn't expect to have genuine connections with people because a lot of the time I got talking, and even for like a whole hour after the session I got talking to people and I got to know their personal lives and problems, and I also bitched and moaned about my frustrations, and then next time I meet them they were asking, so how did that go? And, oh shit, you actually remember. So that is something I was surprised as well. So when I was building this, I was already thinking, how can I make sure people don't misbehave? I need to know, I need to be able to kick them off the platform, etc. And I think I never had any major issues. I mean, I did have to disable a few accounts, but it's just a handful. And it's just people who came in, they were curious, and then, they came in the session, they didn't even say hello and they left. Well, you're out, but very, very few cases. So that was something I was very surprised of. Like-minded people coming here and being just genuinely decent.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. It really shows that most of the people are good if you do not focus on the bad people. And I feel like what you said, the like-minded people get here. We all want to get to work. We all want to get there. We all want to have a place and some rest to get to sit down and get going whatever we need to do. And there's beautiful connection afterwards. So that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what I like, and I get my socializing done, so tick the box. Well, I think we talked enough about platform. I don't want people to think this is an advertorial, just showing off the cool people you get to meet here.
Me, I'm the cool people you can meet. No.
Hey, if you have kids and you want to have a therapist, there you go. I mean,
let's go.
Let's go.
I don't know if I can help you, but I can try.
I can try too. I'm not a psychotherapist, but why not? I'm a hypnotist.
I'm technically not either, right?
Well, I'm a hypnotist. I do tell people. Yes, because kids have great imagination, and to get results out of a hypnotherapy session, a good imagination is important. So if you lack imagination, it's a bit of a struggle.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Well, it's an interesting thing for you as well, and it's not that hard to learn, to be honest with you. And it is a very good complementary skill for you to have. So I know a psychotherapist who also studied hypnosis. So she actually applies some of the techniques into her.
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard from people in the Netherlands as well who do it as complementary, like you said. Yeah, it's great.
It's an interesting thing, yeah. Cool. How about some personal questions? Well, I'm not asking you personal stuff. Like, what movies or books you like or something like that. Some famous Dutch authors, because nobody knows anything. Dutch authors. Plus, you don't make any cars.
I'm sorry?
Plus, you don't make any cars. I mean, what do you guys make there?
Yeah.
Apart from wooden shoes.
Do we?
You don't?
No, we don't. No,
you had this spider, whatever car. They bought Saab, but then it failed.
Yeah.
You don't have any mainstream car manufacturers.
No, we don't. No, we do for other...
You have trucks.
International companies, but trucks, of course we have trucks. We are a land of import and export, so we do have that.
Well, you make them. Like, isn't DAF a Dutch company?
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah, I believe it is. This is German. I
Quick,
don't know for sure.
Google it. Eindhoven.
Eindhoven. Oh, no, that's Dutch.
I know that.
Wonderful. Yeah, but you had a question. I lost it.
Books and movies, whichever you want. Which one would you recommend we watch?
I do not watch a lot of movies or series. My husband always wants to watch more movies and series with me, but I cannot sit still when, especially not only watching a movie.
I'll watch something with him if he comes over if he wants. We can watch Lord of the Rings extended edition.
Oh yeah, yeah, but that one is good. But I can sit still if you give me something to do. In England, knitting. In the rest of the world, is crocheting. So I will be crocheting like a mad woman while we're watching whatever. But yeah, we don't watch a lot. What books I do, I am at this point looking to most of the books I read are psychology related at least. And you have a Dutch book. Is it a Dutch? No, it's not a Dutch book. I'm going to look for the translation. Rutger Bregman, that's Dutch. Do we have it in England? Yes, Humankind, A Hopeful History.
Humankind.
Published in Bloomsbury. What it does is it looks at a different way towards most of the things we see as evil and as a reason that we think people are bad. And he makes a case of not that people are bad, but there are some bad people who do horrible things. And if you look further than that, you can see how good humanity is.
Humanity overall is good.
Yeah.
But there is actually evil in the world. So, that's my opinion anyway. Vast majority of people are good. However, I'm not that old, but I've seen enough shit. Also, I read a lot of history and like even recent history, we don't need to go back more than 50 years. Effed up stuff.
And a lot of people in this day and age are really cynical about other people, I think at least. And this is a really good work countering that idea. And that's why I love it. It has multidisciplinary, so it also looks to psychology, it looks to history, it looks to all kinds of things. And I love it for what it is in that way, because it's a new way of thinking inside literature, for me at least, because a lot of things are really technical, or really a lot of studies in psychology really can prove that people are just group animals and do whatever one leader tells them to do, so you can make them do all kinds of bad stuff. And it's not true. Most people don't go that far. Most people at least question it. Most people go against the grain in that case.
Yeah, most. But it only takes one nutter to screw the whole enterprise.
Yeah.
When you go to the airport and they grab your bits, obviously to protect you from danger. There is a reason for that, and it was only a few people going nuts, and there you go.
Yeah.
Now
the few people
the whole
can
thing
be
is
really
changed.
dangerous. Yeah, but it's still a few people, and we still should...
You know that game, what's it called? Damn it. There is a game, I think it was invented in Russia.
I think
where you have two werewolves and then the whole village, right? And it's two of the players who are werewolves or something like that. They, it's a group of people. And the two werewolves, everybody closes their eyes, and the two werewolves, they can open and they can communicate and they can sync up. And, it's night and they can kill somebody, and then everybody else has to guess, and then they have to kill whoever they think is the werewolf. And that's a game that virtually always the werewolves win, because it is an example of how a well-coordinated minority group can destroy a large group. And virtually the good people, they never win, because they're not coordinated, but a small coordinated group can destroy a large group. And it's happened throughout history many times, Romania, it became a communist country through minority, through force of arms really, to be honest. It was imposed on, but there weren't many communists in the country, but then they're up in power by force, and then they stay there, and that's also one of the reasons. Oh, we're going into deep topics, let's not. It's too much, much.
Yeah, but
it is a good game.
It is like that. Werewolves, we call it werewolves in the Netherlands. Is it just called werewolves? I believe it is.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't even know if it is werewolves or whatever it is, but it is an interesting game that I saw, was discussed. I don't even remember where. I don't know. What else should I ask you? 43 minutes is probably enough, unless you want to ask me something. Otherwise, I guess we can wrap it up. You don't have to ask me anything. I like to give people a chance to ask me back, because I do a lot of questions.
Yeah, I know, but I already know a lot about you, so it's really switching up in thinking, because you already talk a lot.
I do try to shut up.
No, don't do that, please. I love talking with you.
Well, me too. To both our listeners, or if there's only one left by now, we do we did talk about all sorts of topics after our sessions, which are quite enjoyable. It's always good to talk to somebody from a different country, because you go on social media and you always see some extreme whatever happens in this other country, but you don't really know what the situation is like and whether that extreme is good or bad unless you live there. That's why my friends always ask me what it's like in England, and then you go to somewhere else and they ask you what it's like in England, and somebody comes here and they say, so what's it like in Germany? Because you've not been there. You need the local take.
Indeed. I just love it. I love how our conversations, but also it can go about everything. We have politics, we have cats, we have dogs, we have everything.
Yes.
I just love it. Yeah.
Normally these are deep conversations for the pub. I mean, you need something in your hand, but we do it either way, or with coffee. I used to...
8 o'clock is really early for a beer though.
Not if you're alcoholic.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's always 5 o'clock. Yeah.
We also use that saying in Netherlands.
You know, airports are like a different parallel universe. Anything that doesn't go in the outside world in the airport is fine. At 5 a.m. you see people in flip-flops and pajamas having beer in the airport, right? Where else would you see at 5 a.m. people in flip-flops and pajamas drinking beer? I suppose in their kitchen if they're alcoholic, but where else? Nobody else.
Yeah, probably. But you probably don't see the alcoholics. Most of the time they try to hide it away. So
if they're functioning, I guess they do.
They probably try to be functioning at least.
A fun fact, when I go to the pub, sometimes when they ask me anything for drink, and one time, no, it wasn't a pub, it was a restaurant, anything to drink, and I said, oh no, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and she said, okay, and I'm not, but I didn't want to drink. So that was a quick way to get out of the question, and then, of course, my colleagues are just having a laugh afterwards. And the colleague of mine, when we went to a different restaurant, they said, any allergies? And he said, we'll find out. It's good.
That's lovely.
All right.
Good.
Well, I guess we can wrap it up. To everybody listening, hope you enjoyed the conversation. I know I did. So we've got at least one happy client, so that's good enough. Low standards, low expectations, and if we meet them...
That's great, yeah, I would love that.
Alright, well, thank you for your time, Kathy, and I'll probably see you... I'm just looking...
I believe Monday morning.
Yeah, I saw you join my early sessions today.
Indeed.
Alright, see you soon.
Well, have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.